Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name's Tiana, and if you're returning, it is so nice to see you again. It's later in the day that I'm filming this video, and I'm in my basement, and I'm in a cardigan and a sweater, and I just feel so cozy. It's like everything's done for the day, everything is calm. I don't know, I love filming in the morning, and I remember I always loved filming in the morning, but there's something about filming at the end of the day where I can just kind of like decompress. It's kind of nice. Anyway, we are here today to talk about my Pan That Palette series. I don't exactly know yet how often I want to make an update video. I think I want to do it like once a month, maybe once every 2 months, we'll see. But I wanted to do a Pan That Palette series because I was watching TikTok videos and a lot of people were saying how old their eyeshadow palettes were, like how old their Tati Beauty palette was, and I have that palette and a lot of other palettes that I had too. They were like, oh, this came out like 10 years ago. This came out like 8 years ago. And I was sitting there like, is that how old my eyeshadow is? Not just that, when I had went on a trip with my fiance, I brought a palette with me and it's getting older. Like the formula is changing on it. If you previously watched my Project Pan videos, I was working on my Too Faced Hot Buttered Rum palette for years. And I was working on one of the shades for years and years and years. I finally finished it. I rolled it out of my collection and I gave it to one of my sisters. Anyway, I said after that I could buy a new palette. I haven't bought one since then because I have been trying to work on what I currently have. Now during the Sephora VIB sale, I might snag a palette, but that's still like a month or a month and a half away. So I want to see kind of how far I can get with what I have. So if you see my Project Pan video, you know currently that I am focused on my e.l.f. Earth and Ocean palette. I have a hard time saying that. e.l.f. Earth and Ocean palette. Okay, we got it. I'm just going to say e.l.f. So we know that this is the Focus palette. Now here's the thing. I got this, I would want to say like 5+ years ago, maybe closer to 6. And I did really like this and I did really enjoy it. And I am wearing it today and it was really nice. But realistically, if I cover up a lot of the blues, I would only wear half the palette. I'm also not big on like gold, so those two shades I don't wear a lot and I wouldn't wear enough. And then when it comes to the greens, they're just okay formulas. They're nice to have, but they're just okay formula wise. So realistically, I only reach for the shade right here, which I have hit pan on, this shade, and sometimes this shade. And I'm going to be honest with you, if I want to use a sparkly brown or something similar, I have so many other eyeshadows that I could reach for that are a better formula or newer formula. And not just that, this one here, the quality of the shadows are still okay. So I feel like if I were to use this one, clean it up, I would be okay passing it along to one of my sisters or one of my friends, and they can go ahead and use this as they would please. Realistically, it just doesn't make sense for me to have all these colors that I don't use. Like I went on a trip recently and I wanted to bring this for this one shade, but I would have to bring a second palette with me because if I covered that shade, I wouldn't reach for any of the other ones. Say I am wearing this shade along with this shade here, and then I had to reach for another palette to reach for a lighter shade. In reality, while this is still good and while I am still playing around with it, once I completely finish that shade, I would like to roll it out of my collection. The only way I would keep it around is if I happen to hit pan on one of these shades, any shade, while I'm still using this, I would probably want to finish what other shade I hit pan on. Realistically, I don't think that's going to happen. At first, I was going to keep this around a little bit longer and try my hardest to hit pan on the two shimmery browns, but it would take a really long time for me and the formula wouldn't be as good and I wouldn't enjoy using it as much. Not just that though. This is why I wanted to kind of start this series. I took my Going Coconuts palette with me on vacation and the formula is changing and the formula is going off and the formula is not the greatest anymore. So that's why I thought, okay, I'm going to use this as much as I can and I'm going to use this brown up, and then once this is gone, then this will be my like main focus palette. However, my original thought for this year was I was going to pan. It's kind of confusing. Stick with me. It will make a lot of sense. Originally, I wanted to kind of work this one out of my collection. It's the It's My Pleasure, and I have had this for I think like 7 years, 8 years at this point, and I really love it. This one here I'm the closest to hitting pan on because it was in a project pan a lot. I use that shade a lot. I use this one, like I use all of the shades. It's just this is more of like a spring and summer palette, so I don't use it as much, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to use it this spring and summer and then I'll roll it out of my collection. The thing is as of right now, there's nothing wrong with the shades formula wise, and I still really like it, and I'd still like to have a good round with it. So I was contemplating, what do I do with this palette? And then I hit pan on the brown. So that is why I'm starting off with my e.l.f. palette. And then I was still thinking about this palette. That was going to be the next one. But then when I went on my trip recently, and I mean recently, I brought my Going Coconuts palette. This was the only one that I brought. And I was like, oh my goodness, I need to get to using this palette. And I need to like use it for like a year and then declutter it. Like I won't even give this to my sisters or my friends. This one like has got to go because it is getting kind of gross. It's still okay on my eyes. I'm not irritated. There's nothing going on there. That's the other thing. I am so cautious when it comes to my eye area because I have really sensitive eyes and really sensitive skin. So anyway, I decided that once I finish this one, I will focus on this one. Because the e.l.f. palette lacks a lot of colors that I kind of need day to day, I can kind of, you know, incorporate both palettes, and I'm still getting used out of both, which is perfect. When I was on my trip, this shade right here, I noticed the formula changing. The pan kept moving around too. This one here is getting kind of crumbly. This one here is getting very dusty. Like there's a lot that's kind of going on with this palette, and I was sitting there thinking, how long have I had these palettes? And I think I've had them for over 7 years because I got these two together. So anyway, this one here, my goal is going to be to completely use up 2 shades from this palette, and then I will declutter it. Realistically, I would love to use the entire palette, but I don't know how the shades are going to be. So my goal as of right now and my thoughts is use up this shade and then completely finish 2 of these, and then possibly move on to working on this one for the summer. I'm not entirely sure. This I could probably put into like a body lotion and use it as like a body glow. That's kind of what I was wanting to test out and try, and I honestly might just do that. But I would really love to use up for sure 2 of the mattes. And then who knows, maybe I'll keep it in my project pan to try and pan some more or use some more up. But for sure, I want to use 2 full eyeshadow shades, and then I want to play around with that white one somehow and just see if I can use it up somehow. So I'd for sure have 3 shades gone from this palette, and then like I said, I could call it after that. Every shade in this one has been used. This moved from when my fiance and I lived at his parents' house to our current home. This has been on many trips with us, so this has been really well loved and used. So I just think this is the year where I use it up. Not just that though, I have so many different events coming up this year that I can use these shadows for. That would be perfect. So I might as well really use it. And let's just say I do finish 2 shades, but I think I can accomplish finishing another or hitting pan on another. And if it's not irritating my skin or my eyes, then maybe I'll keep going and that'll be fine. And then I could roll this one into the rotation because I have a feeling that this will be rolled in like mid-spring / summer anyway. So then I could work on these 2 together, and then maybe by the end of the year, I will say, okay, I've used this as much as I could. It's time to roll it out. But I don't see myself keeping this past 2026. I almost dropped this. Past 2026, no, I'm not going to continue keeping it. I will declutter it, and then I will get myself something that is a newer, fresher formula. Or if I don't want to buy myself a new eyeshadow palette, I do have a couple that have a lot of really similar colors and that I can use every single day. Originally, I wanted to work on my It's My Pleasure one, But again, the shades in here, they're still really, really good. This one hasn't like, it's traveled with me, like I have moved with it, and it is the same age as the Going Coconuts. But this one here, I have reached for so many more times. I can see why the Going Coconuts is going quicker than the It's My Pleasure, and that's totally fine by me. So as of right now, my pan that palette, or pan those palettes, goal is to finish the shade from the e.l.f. Earth and Ocean palette. Not a crazy amount, but it is a decent amount. I have about like half the shade, or a little bit half of it left. And then I will focus on this one as well. I think I'll come back in April and update you guys on how it's going, because I do think that I am gonna have these in here for probably, I would say 2 months. I could see myself taking 2, maybe 3 months to finish that, and then we can go into these and I can start sharing my progress on how I'm doing with these. I'm getting ahead of myself in this video, but I would absolutely love to hit pan on one of these shades in here. Realistically, it would probably be this one, because I have worn it so much, and there's like a huge, you won't be able to see it, but there's a huge dip in this one. So I would love to be able to hit pan on that one. But anyway, my goal for 2026 is to finish this, clean it up, roll it out, use this as much as I possibly can in 2026 to roll out, and hopefully I can hit my goal with these two, so we can roll this one in and start playing around with this in the spring and the summer. It's a little hard for me to use in the fall and the winter, but there might be a couple of shades that I could play around with in here. But anyway, that is going to be my Pan That Palette series. This is the intro in it. So like I said, sometime in April, I don't know if it'll be the beginning, I don't know if it'll be the end, it'll be sometime in April, I'll come on here and update you guys on how the progress is going with these two palettes. It's funny because I always wanted to do like a pan those eyeshadows video. But the thing with me was I always had like 10 or under eyeshadow palettes. Like I never had like a ton of eyeshadow palettes. But as soon as someone said that the eyeshadow palettes that they had were really, really old and they were decluttering them, I thought, no, I'm going to set a goal for them before I just let them go and declutter them. And especially before bringing in any new eyeshadow, I might as well use up the ones that I can use up and pass on the ones that I can pass on before I bring anything in. So let me know in the comments down below, are you doing a Pan That palette? Are you working on a specific eyeshadow? Do you have any of these palettes? Also, let me know, how long do you think it's gonna take me to finish that shade from the e.l.f. palette? I'm kind of curious. It would be so cool if I could come back in April and just say, guys, it's done. I think that's a little ambitious of me, but you never know. We'll see. So anyway, I will see you in the next one. Bye.